In the name of God. Hello, students. My name is Masood. I'm a physics teacher. We are in Ferhoaz site at your service to explain the physics curriculum, grade 10. So far, we talked about some sections about the chapter 1 from physics curriculum, grade 10. Right now, uh, actually, I wanna complete our study. In previous lecture, especially, I talked about the some prefixes in SI. Prefixes are used for simplifying our speech. I gave you some example last lecture, but I think I didn't complete one, let's say, example about the prefix. Let me explain this one, and after that, I solve this problem for you, right? I gave you an example about for example, a distance between two neighboring atoms. The distance between two neighboring atoms in a solid state is 1 nanometer, right? 1 nanometer. So I use nano instead of, for example, 1 billionth. Yeah. Instead of I say 1 billionth meter, I say 1 nanometer, right? In this situation, so nano simplifies our speech. That's why we use it in our daily life, even you are not expert. So ordinary people use, let's say, prefixes unconsciously. You go to the grocery store, you go to for example, you measure your weight. You don't say, for example, my weight is, or my mass. My mass is, for example, 50,000 gram. I say my mass is 50 kilogram. I bought 1 kilogram of tomato, for example. I don't say I bought let's say 1,000 gram of tomato. That's why prefixes are useful even in our daily life, even if we are not expert, right? Right now, uh, let me explain the sample problem. We have a sample problem here about the prefixes, page 14, right? I told you in our calculation, this is my approach actually. I don't use conversion factor in my calculation. Conversion factor is a little bit complicated. I prefer this approach. And I have a note here instead of conversion factor. Let me show you the note. I say we have a note. In order to convert measurements from a unit to other, we obey this, let's say, these notes. We have two notes. The first note, whenever you want to convert from a small unit to a large unit, you have to use negative power. From small to large, we use negative power. Let's say we have another note. Instead of, let's say, if we have conversion from large to small, we use positive power. So from large unit to small unit, we use positive power. Keep in mind, let's say, that they are, let's say, they are useful in our calculation, and I want you to memorize them, right? And they are very easy. It simplifies our calculation. The first one, let me read the question. It says, sample problem. A typical bacterium has a mass of 2 femtogram. Express this measurement in terms of gram and kilogram. So we have two in one, two question in one question. Right? M is equal to femtogram. We want to convert it to gram. Without thinking, so just write the value of femto. How much is the value of femto? How much is the power of femto? 10 to the power negative 15. So 2 times 10 to the power negative 15 gram. That's it. So we are done, right? Here, the situation is a little bit different because we have two prefixes in both sides. But in the previous question, we had only one prefix in one side, one prefix. That's why it takes, let's say it took one step. But here, because we have more than one prefix, we have prefix in either side. That's why, let's say, the calculation takes more than one step. The first step is similar to the first step here. The first thing without, let's say, without thinking, just let's say convert the value of, just write the value of femto. So how much is the value of femto? How much is the power of femto? 10 to the power negative 15. So 2, write down the 2 here. Let's say this is the value of femto, 10 to the power negative 15. And after that, gram. Is calculation done? Has unit changed to kilogram? No, right? We have one more step here. From this step, I want you to obey the note. If you remember the note, I told you, whenever you want to convert from small to large, you have to use negative powers. So here we have we have small unit to larger one, gram to kilogram. That's why in this situation, gram to kilogram. How do I, for example, how do I use the power, gram to kilogram? Take the power from kilo. You know the power of kilo is 10 to the power 3. It's positive. But here you want to convert from small to large. Take the power of kilo, but put a negative sign in front of the power. And this situation, let's say the calculation is done. So right now we have 2 times 10 to the power negative 15 times 10 to the power negative 3, right? Write down 2 here, and we have 2, let's say, common base. Write one of these, let's say, bases, and add the exponents together. Negative 15 plus negative 3 becomes negative 18 kilogram. And we are done, right? Let's move on to another question. Practice 1A, page 14. A human hair is approximately 50 micrometer in diameter. So the thickness of human hair is 50 micrometer, right? Micro. Express this diameter in meters, right? Express this one, 50 micrometer to meter. I told you here it doesn't, let's say, need any complication, right? Just let's say write the value of micro. How much is the value of micro? 10 to the power negative 6. That's why it becomes 50 times 10 to the power negative 6, let's say, meters. That's it. It takes only one step. And we have a, let's say, identical situation here. Question number 2 says, a typical radio wave has a period of 1 microsecond. Express this period in second. It's the same as the question number 1. 1 microsecond converted to second. I want you to convert to second. Micro becomes 10 to the power negative 6. That's why 1 times 10 to the power negative 6, second. That's it. Right? Another question number 3. A hydrogen atom has a diameter of about 10 nanometer, right? We have 10 nanometers of, let's say, this is the diameter of hydrogen atom. Express this diameter, let's say, into the meter, A. B, the same diameter to millimeter, the same diameter to the micrometer. Let's do the calculation together. The first one, 10 nanometer to meter. So here we have, let's say, a simple case, nanometer. Actually, from only we have one prefix, right, in both sides. Only we have one prefix in one side. Other side has no prefix. That's why it's very easy. Just write the value of nano. That's it, and multiply it by 10. So 10 times 10 to the power negative 9, because 10 to the power negative 9 is the value of nano. Multiply these powers together. We have a common base. Write, let's say, one base, 10, and add the, let's say, powers together. Add the exponents together. Here we have 1, yeah? Here we have, let's say, 1, 10 to the power 1. 1 plus negative 9 becomes negative 8 meters. Let's move on to another one. Express this diameter, the same diameter, 10 nanometer, in millimeters. Look here, nanometer into the millimeter. In both sides, we have, let's say, prefixes. That's why the calculation takes more than one step. The first step is similar to the, let's say, previous question, right? Just write down the value of nano here, right? 10 is a fixed number. Write it as it is without changing. Nano becomes 10 to the power negative 9, and write meters. Right now, we want to convert meter to millimeter. I have a question for you. Is this, let's say, conversion from large to small or from small to large? Actually, meter is greater than millimeter. That's why it's conversion from large to small. But how do I, let's say, how do I take the power? Where do I take the power, teacher? Where do I take the power? Uh, you can take the power from milli. How much is the power of milli? 10 to the power negative 3. But because you convert the unit from large to small, you have to remove the negative sign. And it will be 10 to the power 3, like this. So 10 to the power negative 9 times 10 to the power 9, I told you, becomes 10 to the power 8, negative 8. And this one, 10 to the power 3, means we convert milli to, let's say, we convert meter to millimeter. That's why we remove the negative sign and it will be positive. So we have two common base here, write one of them, and add the exponents together. Negative 8 plus 3 become negative 5 millimeters, right? Let's move on to another question. This actually the same question, but C. Express this diameter into micron. The diameter was what? The diameter is was 10 nanometer. We want to convert 10 nanometer to micrometer. Be with me. I want to, let's say, explain it for you. Uh, I have a question for you. I have a question. I say nanometer. How many prefixes are there here in this question? We have two prefixes here. One in this, let's say, uh, in this part, one in left side and one in right side, right? That's why I told you the first step is similar to the other steps. Just write the value of nano, which is 10 to the power negative 9, right? Multiply them together, 10 to the power negative 8. But after you, let's say, convert nano to, after you, let's say, write, uh, let's say, the value of nano, here we have one more step. We want to convert meter to micrometer. Is the conversion taken place from, let's say, large to small or from small to large? Actually, meter is, let's say, much more greater than micrometer. That's why you convert from large to small. So the power should be positive, right? The power should be positive. But which, let's say, power shall I use? We should take the power from the micro. And the power of micro is 10 to the power negative 6. You have to remove the negative sign and it will be positive because you convert from large to small. And this is the last step. Just let's say multiply the powers. Let's say in order to multiply the powers, we have the common base. Write down the one base and add the exponents together. Negative 8 plus 6 becomes negative 2 micrometer, and we are done. Other question. Let's move on to question number 4. The distance between the sun and Earth is about 1.5 times 10 to the power 11 meters, right? Express this distance. We want to express this distance in terameter, T capital. T capital means is this symbol of tera, and in kilometers, right? So meter, well, let's say the first step we want to the first step we want to convert meter to terameter. After that, meter to kilometers. Actually, terameter is not required for students. But this is the question of textbook. Uh, Let me solve it for you. 1.5 times 10 to the power negative 10 to the power 11 meters. We want to convert it to kilometers. Actually, here we want to convert from small to large, right? From small to large. From small, look here, meter is a small, let's say, meter is a smaller unit actually, compared to the kilometers. Compared to the kilometers, they are what? They are actually, look here, let me change the color. So here we have what? Meter to kilometers, right? We convert the unit from small to large. That's why the unit should be what? The unit should be, let's say, negative. You take the power from kilo, and kilo is positive, 10 to the power, let's say 3. But you have to add negative power, let's say, in front of the 10 to the power 3. That's why it will be 1.5 times 10 to the power 11 times 10 to the power negative 3, right? And the answer 1.5 times 10 to the power 8 kilometers. Another, let's say, conversion, 1.5, the same number, the distance between sun and earth, 1.5 times 10 to the power 11 meters. We want to convert it into the terameter. Of course, meter to the terameter. Meter is much more smaller than, let's say, than what? Than terameter. But so you convert from small to large, from small to large. The power should be what? Should be negative. You take the power from tera, but you have to add negative sign instead of the, let's say, in front of the power. So I know the power of tera is 10 to the power 12. It's positive. It's okay, no problem. But I put the negative sign in front of the power because I convert from small to large, right? After that, you just, let's say, rearrange the, uh, or you just multiply the powers together, 1.5 times one, take one common base and add the exponents together. It will be 10 to the power negative 1 terameter, right? Let's move on to another question. Question number 5. The average mass of an automobile in the uh, United States is about 1.444 times 10 to the power 6 gram. Express this mass in kilogram. We want to express it into the kilogram. Gram to kilogram, right? Small to large. So the unit shall be, the power should be negative. But the power of kilo is positive, no problem. You take the power from kilo, it's positive, but you add the negative power in front of the 3. So it will be 1.45 times 10 to the power 6. Write the number as it is. After that, I told you 10 to the power negative 3. You take the power from kilo, but with opposite sign because you convert from small to large. And the answer after actual calculation, it will be 1.44 times 10 to the power 3 kilogram. That's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this lecture.